This is my first presentation at the second Raku Conference. This presentation is going to be about scripts, how you can make them better for your users, and how you can actually make them better for yourself as well. I hope you're going to like it. So what scripts are we actually talking about? Well, I would say we're talking about scripts that are more of a permanent nature. Scripts that you use many times a day yourself, scripts that you might want to share with the world. I mean, other scripts are also fine, but they're probably not worth the extra effort that you need to do, or maybe it is, but that's really up to you and how you work normally. So what I think are the best script practices, you need to create a distribution skeleton, write all of the main logic in a module, make sure that submain is exported, create a script and use the module in there, test the script, install it with Zef, so you can actually use it everywhere on your system, and you're basically ready for production. So why would we take this approach? Why would we do it so difficulty? Well, compilation is still the slowest part of Raku. If you actually have a module, it gets pre-compiled, so you have no compilation time. An installed script is found very quickly. It doesn't actually have to do a lot of searching for you. And, well, in general, a tip, avoid -i in production if you can. So how does that look? Well, I'd say make sure that we have some prerequisites installed. It's basically fez. Fez is basically the upload mechanism to the new Zef ecosystem for Raku. So that will allow you to upload your modules there without too much hassle. You will need to register for it, so you can actually call fez register. You will give your name, your email address. You will get a confirmation email, and after that you're ready to upload. And to make things easier to upload, you actually also have app MI6. This is basically not just for uploading, but also basically guiding you through the whole process of making a distribution. In this case for your script, but it could just also be for a Raku module that you want to share with the world. So once we've done that, you create a new skeleton by saying MI6 new app EasyFrop in this example, and you indicate that you want to upload to the fez ecosystem by saying --fez. After that's done its work, you can actually cd into a directory, and lo and behold, there will be an EasyFrop Raku module available there that you can edit. You can add the following code into it as an example. Basically, the proto means that this is going to be the entry point for all of your candidates in your submain, and that's the only thing that needs to get exported. And we create a single submain here in the example that will just accept the foo as a subcommand and will reply with bar. Once you've done that, we actually create a script in the bin directory. In this case, we call it frob, and the only thing that needs to be in there is use app EasyFrop. That's the only thing that needs to be in there. You can actually test the script by running Raku with -i period. Call the script directly, bin frob, and the parameter that we want to have here is foo, so it can actually say bar for you. You can then tell Zef to install it. So that will do its work and basically install the frop, the module, EasyFrop, and the frop script into your system. So after that, you can basically say frop from anywhere on your system, and it will actually show you bar. And if you really want to, you can actually share it with the world by saying MI6 release, and it will actually release it for you to the Zef ecosystem. That's all you need to do. Isn't that simple? So for this presentation, I was looking for modules that make your making of scripts easier. And for looking for modules, Rakuland is your friend, and that's actually the URL, raku.land. Thank you for the new top-level domains that we have. So you can look for all the modules with the CLI, the command line interface tag, on that URL. But you'll find that most of the modules in there actually provide a command line interface rather than help you creating one. So I had to make a selection, and I basically made a selection and found actually 3 types of modules in the ecosystem for making your scripts better. I called them the Slurpee ARGS preprocessors. At ARGS is basically where the command line parameters wind up verbatim before getting processed. There are the feedback enablers modules, and we have the main candidate adders. These basically add a candidate to your main sub for special purposes. So let's look at the ARGS preprocessors first. Most famous one is, of course, Getopt long. Not so famous, maybe SuperMAIN, and nobody knows about this one because it's very new. It's called allow no. Let's have a look at Getopt long. If you really want your command line parameters to work like the fully POSIX GNU extension compliant way, then this is your thing. So basically, if you don't like the way Raku is doing it, then you should use Getopt long. It's being maintained by Leon Timmermans. It's a port from the Perl 5 version by Johan Vromans, and it works, it does its work, and it's very nice. So what do you do to make it work? You say use Getopt long, and if you are using submain, then that's all you need to do. Getopt long also has a way of not using main if you want to do that, and then you get the more Perl oriented interface by specifying get options, and basically it will get those options with those types into these variables that you specify, which is very much like the Perl way of doing it, which might be helpful if you're porting scripts from Perl. The next one we're looking at is SuperMAIN by Claudia Ramirez. Basically, it was the inspiration for the named anywhere functionality that we have in Raku now standard, and basically it will activate that for you. It allows you to specify a space instead of an equal sign in your command line parameters. Some people like it that way. Personally, I don't really like it because I really like the equal sign indicating where the value belongs. It automatically creates an alias for you for if you have a long named option. So for --foo, you can also say -f. You can find it here, SuperMAIN, or you can just install it with Zef by saying Zef install SuperMAIN. And what do you need to do after that? Well, use the module and everything will be done according to the features that I just described. The final one is allow no. It's hardly a module, but basically it allows you to say --no- instead of --/ for options, Boolean options that you want to indicate are false. This will actually be in the next release of Rakuda as well as one of the submain ops called allow no, but the module is available already now if you want to, and will be available for all the versions of Rakuda. What do you need to do? Well, just use the module and you're done. There you go. The feedback enablers, there's basically 2 of them. It is as-cli-arguments and meta constants. As-cli-arguments basically returns a command line arguments representation for a capture or a hash, which can be helpful if you want to provide feedback. If you have a combination of parameters that you didn't expect, you can actually tell the user in the command line interface way what they did wrong. So what do you need to do for that? You use the module, and it exports a single subroutine with the same name called as-cli-arguments. You can give it a capture and it will show it like the normal way, or you can tell it to use the named anywhere functionality, in which case the named options will be listed late at the end of the line. You can actually, if you don't specify anything, it will take the current setting of submain opts. And you can actually, if you just have a hash, you can actually show the hash if you want to, and it will actually show them in alphabetical order to be consistent. Otherwise, you could have different versions for different ordering in the hash that you provide. The other one is meta constants. It basically allows you to expose information from your meta6.json file. and they are imported as constants for easy access in your script or module that you use for your script. And it's by yours truly, and you can actually find it at this URL. So suppose you have this meta6 JSON file. It basically has a name, a description, and a version. In your module, you can just say use meta constants, $, distribution. Why that? Well, $, distribution is only available inside your module from that distribution. If you want to expose that to the world, you need to do that yourself. And this is basically exposing it to the meta constants module. So the meta constants actually can export the right things, and so you can actually just easily say them without actually knowing where the information is actually living or what is actually in there. So let's have a look at the main candidate adders. There's basically 3 of them. There's the shorten-sub-commands, the CLI version, and the CLI help. So shorten-sub-commands is basically a module that allows you to handle unexpected subcommands. So suppose your script actually has a propagate subcommand, then you can, if you use this module, you can say script F instead of script propagate. If it's unique, of course. You can find it here at this URL. It's also by yours truly. How does that look? Well, let's suppose we have a script, a module for a script that basically has 3 subcommands, foo, bar, and baz. After you specified the multi-subs, you can say use certain subcommands &main, so that the subcommands module actually knows where to add the additional candidates. And if you then call frob with foo, you will get foo. If you call frob with f, you also get foo. If you call frob with bar, you get bar. And if you call frob with b, it tells you no, that's ambiguous because it matches both bar and baz. And that's basically what it allows you to do. So if you have a very extensive script with a lot of subcommands, think Zef, think the ecosystem script that you can use for introspection into the ecosystem. It basically that uses this module, so you can actually have shorter subcommands. The next one we're going to look at is CLI version. It basically adds a -V and --version options to your script. It shows the information about your script, so you actually don't have to maintain that yourself. It's also available by yours truly. So it takes the information from the meta6.json. So suppose we have this in our meta6, the name, description, and version, and we basically say use CLI version, distribution, and main, because it takes the information from the distribution and it puts it into as an extra candidate in the main sub. So you can actually say on the command line frob --version. It will basically take the name of the script provided by the module and the version and show some additional information. And you can actually make it a little more verbose by also specifying verbose. And it will actually tell you the description, propagation made easy in this case, and then provided by etc. 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 It's a very easy way of basically making the information about a module available in your script. And similarly, it's the CLI help. When the standard help feedback that you already get with Raku basically won't cut it. And this is basically the case when you have lots and lots and lots of features and options in your script, which you will find in the AppRack talk that I'm going to give tomorrow, which of course uses this module. It adds the -h and --help options to your script. It allows for subsections to your help, so you can actually go in deeper for certain help subjects, and basically use the information stored as text files in the /resources of your distribution. You can find it there on Rakuland. And so suppose that we have this in meta6.json, the name, description, version, authors, source URL, and you put uCLI help and gives it the distribution and the main. Then if you call your script with -- help, it will actually give the information and then show the text from resources help.txt. And if you want to actually give some more information about knobbing with EasyFrog, then basically you can say help -- help knobbing, and you will get the text from resources /help /knobbing.txt. So this allows you to maintain information for the help pages that you can have provide with your script. Separately from your script, which can be easy for you and potentially would allow localization in the future. And of course, you can have a verbose version of that, and that basically tells you the author and the name of the script, that's the version and how it's implemented and where the Git URL is, and it will thank the users for using the script. Ain't that nice? So have a look at the modules cheat sheet that we have so far. Getopt long, you get the POSIX compliant argument parsing, SuperMAIN with automatic short aliases and allow space for instead of equal sign, converts then allow no, converts no foo to foo, or vice versa actually, converts. Anyway, you got the picture. as-cli-arguments, you can actually show the capture or a hash as command line arguments. Meta constants obtains information from the meta file and exports them as constants for you. Shorten-sub-commands make foo accessible as f if you have subcommands in your script. CLI version for adding version information, and CLI help for getting extended help features available to you. So that concludes my presentation for here. Now, normally in an in-person presentation, we would have questions now, but I guess we'll have that later. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow. Or today.
Liz, can you hear me? It's Tom Browder. I can't hear you.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. I appreciate that presentation, and that CLI help looks like something I've been looking for years. I'm anxious to try it out. I'd had a module started to do the same kind of thing, but I'm sure yours is better. And one of my complaints I've had on IRC is that the reason I don't like main is there's no way to control the width of the, you take Zeph, for example, you do help on Zeph, and you get a text line 300 characters long. And I tried to suggest that we put a limit on or an option on main to somehow determine the terminal width and adjust, try to format the help lines a little bit.
Well, that seems like a good idea. Actually, internally there's a oops, I got a little feedback there. Internally, there's already a naive word wrapper function that is being used for some error messages if they get too long. But when I actually recommended using that for all error messages and for all types of output, it was sort of shut down at the time. But that's already quite a few years ago. So yeah, maybe things have changed. So maybe we need to look at that. I would certainly suggest making an issue for it if there's not an issue for it already. I guess it's time for the next one then, if there's no more questions.
I have one question, if it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible as far as I'm concerned.
It doesn't look like there's a video feed from me here now. Do you know of anyone or anything that does generation of bash command line expansion scripts like the bash completion? I mean, that can help use the bash completion or similar features in shells to make the command line even more comfortable to use.
Mm-hmm. Do I know of any of them?
Yeah, do you know, has anybody made any around that you are aware of that you could tell about?
Not that I'm aware of, and I'm aware of a lot of things, but no, no, nothing comes to mind at the moment. Nothing Raku specific comes to mind, I should say.
Hi, Liz. This is Anton. I have a question. There's in other programming languages like R and Python, they use a specification called docopt. Are you aware of any efforts to translate docopt specs to Raku code, basically, to Raku command line code? Maybe that's not a good design to begin with. So I don't know, right? I mean,
I don't know about docopt, so I can't really answer the question, and I don't know of anybody doing this. I'll have a look at it because I'm involved at the moment with APRAC in handling a lot of options and stuff and documentation about that stuff. So maybe it's a source of inspiration. But yeah, I don't know of anything in the Raku land working with docopt, as far as I know.
This application I was showing with translating must should into whatever, right? I should apply it to APRAC. It's in my to-do list, you know. So
okay.
Yeah. And yeah, okay. My docopt question was more about interoperability. I very rarely can stay in the same language, and I would like to be able to switch. You know, if I have to switch, say, from Python to R or whatever, or from Raku to Python, I'd want to have some, you know, to facilitate this. And obviously, command line interfaces of Raku is one of the prime features, right? And so I would be very interested to be able to translate whatever Raku has into some other systems.
I'll glance at the docopt.org site later today, and I'll see if I can make any sense of it and let you know.
Thank you.